Welcome back, spiritual angels. I don't know what's going on, but this is my fourth try recording this video. It's almost like something doesn't want this message to get out, and I don't really know why, because I don't think that there's anything in here that really needs to be held back. Anyhow, here we go with the Three of Swords, the King of Swords, and then the Six of Cups. In reverse, but I don't feel like it's in reverse. But that's how I pulled it, so I just kind of left it there. So, after a very long journey of doing a lot of inner work to heal your inner child and letting go of wounds from your past, a lot of trauma, you feel like you almost had no choice but to let this go because you really wanted to move forward. I guess at some point you had an epiphany, maybe perhaps even a tower moment where you were like, I can't do this anymore. I can't live the way that I was living. So I'm also getting that you are the type of individual or individuals in this collective that were very structured, almost like you imposed, or you did impose, very rigid expectations on yourself. So now that you've kind of let like all those limiting beliefs go, it's almost like now that you move on, you still get really irritated because there's some going back and forth when you see people that have like endured some things. You're like, well, I used to hold myself accountable and can sacrifice myself so much longer. I can go to distance. So it's kind of irritating, and I feel like you're kind of fighting a lot of those little limiting beliefs that are kind of coming back to kind of bite you a little bit. And you kind of feel like you worked really hard to get where you are, and people should be stronger and work really hard just like you. And I feel like that's even harder because of the realization or the discovery that you didn't really need to hold on to things so tightly. It was like a shock to your system. So, like, now you get irritated because you did hold on so tight. And it was just such a regimented thing that you did to yourself. And it was really hard, a very hard, like, pattern to kind of break. But you did. And what the ancestors are saying about that is they're really, really proud that you broke that pattern. And they know how hard it was to break that pattern because, you know, you were like that for years. So it was very hard. But they just want you to keep moving forward with that encouragement. And I also feel like with the King of Swords, it's almost like, I feel like he represents the rigidity that you, and like the self-imposed rigid expectations. But I also feel like he represents like this, like that ritual that you used to do where you used to have like your own self-imposed, very, very, very rigid expectations and stuff like that. I almost feel like that thing, that expectation became kind of like an entity. So I almost feel like that's that energy of the sword, the King of Swords. And so what I'm also getting is that you're kind of like in a sort of mourning period. You feel like, oh my goodness, I've overcome so much. I've come this far. I'm seeing the synchronicities. I'm seeing the signs, and I'm there. But I feel like I should be happier or feel like, you know, in awe of something. But you're not quite there. And what the ancestors are saying is that, you know, this healing took a lot. It was very, very deep healing. So you're gonna feel these emotions. You're gonna continue to, as you kind of practice the calmness and the peace that you have established within yourself. They're gonna come up. The old feelings are gonna come up because you're gonna have to like really, really perfect that practice to move forward and continue to just, you know, become proficient in that. And eventually you're not gonna even bat an eye when these situations come up. But that comes from practice and just training. So give yourself grace. Give yourself permission to, you know, just be calm and be kind of like still. There's something that came up very, very interestingly. Well, maybe that's not the right phrase. It was just really, really, really strong. And so maybe it's for one person or like a very small part of this collective. You were kind of feeling really, really, really silly about how you allowed your mental health to impact your physical health. And for whatever reason, that's coming up really, really, really strong in this reading. And you feel kind of silly about it. But I feel like the positive spin on that is that now that you realize what was going on, you have the power to not walk in the same path and not make you, the things that used to make you physically sick and you've overcome can no longer make you physically sick. So don't be too hard up on you. Don't beat yourself up too much, and don't be too hard on yourself, because I feel like that's something, it's like a human thing that we all do at some point. I also pulled a oracle card from my White Light Oracle, and it was number 24, and it was Alpha of Alisone, and she is the goddess of grace and mercy. And when she comes up on a reading, it's because you're probably in the toughest part or the toughest stage of your journey. But when she comes out in a reading, it symbolizes that you're already emerging on the other side of your journey. So she's kind of like a sign of hope, that things are going the way they should go. The ancestors are recommending that you practice meditation to strengthen your connection, your inner connection with self and with the higher power, with the universe. And so this goddess also reassures us that we are going to find our way, that we've gained the wisdom to find our way, and it encourages us to keep going, because what we're doing, or what you're doing, is working for you. And even though it feels like you're not on the right path, you are. This is confirmation. So I'm going to kind of leave it there. Many blessings to all.